let's start the webinar. So, hello everybody, and welcome to our first Fixed Install webinar session. I'm Francesco Fanicchi, and I'm the Brand and Communication Director here at Powersoft. Just a few words about Powersoft before starting the webinar. Powersoft is an Italy-based company that designs and produces power amplifiers and amplifiers modules for loudspeakers. Over the years, Powersoft has been credited with many industry innovations. For example, it has been the first to have introduced in 1996 Class D amplifier, which is now an industry standards. Powersoft is now recognized as a world leader company for the professional audio market. And Powersoft amplifiers are used in a large number of renovation and new builds of systems because of the audio quality, efficiency, network control, safety, and many other features that I hope you can find out later on. So let me say that the reason why we came up with this webinar session is because we felt the need to provide all audio professionals with an opportunity to learn best practices from our key users and get the most out of their experience with Powersoft product. We believe indeed that webinars as a tool can allow you and all audio professionals to get information and insights that can be directly applied to the kind of work you do. That said, just a brief introduction, and now I'm happy to welcome Steven again from FACE, who will share his experience with the Powersoft amps and explain how he has solved all fixed installation limits at the Plopsaqua park in Belgium. Hi, Steven.
Hi, Francesco.
Hi. Do you want to add something more or give a brief description?
Thanks to introduce me already. I just wanted to say one more word about who is Plopsaqua actually, because that's something that we don't see in the video. Plopsaqua is actually a group of theme parks with their main theme park in Belgium, but they have 7 theme parks in Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, and also Poland very soon. Plopsaqua at his own is part of the group of Studio 100, what's actually an entertainment holding, and they are doing, beside the theme park business, they are making children television shows, and they own a lot of characters. Wiki the Viking and Maya the Bee are the most famous one in Europe, I think. Besides that, they're also making theater shows and musical for adults, so they are not working for children. But now we are the guest in the main theme park at the Belgian seaside, where we want to do tour in the next video.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Steven. Before letting you watch the video interview, I would like just to give you some instructions more that will help you to join the webinar. First of all, please disable your microphone, webcam, and don't stop the video playing. And during the video, you can ask questions by forwarding your chat messages directly to question box. And after the video, Steven will go back live and answer your questions. Of course, for reasons of time, we cannot answer all the questions. So you will receive answers to your questions by mail in a week, more or less. So with that said, enjoy the video and see you later.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome on this Powersoft webinar. I'm Seven Kemland. I'm working for the company FACE. FACE is a Belgium-based distributor and integration company, and I'm running there the project division. When we talk about projects, we are doing already for 20 years. We are doing a lot of theaters. We are doing architectural projects, but we also do a lot of theme parks. And actually, the theme park idea, that's the goal where I wanted to talk about today. We are here now in the Powersoft Castle, and the Powersoft Castle, it's actually a new zone in the main theme park of Plopsaqua at the Belgium seaside. In the past, it's a park for more than 20 years old. In the past, they had some speakers over here, they had some amplifiers over here, but it was really a very analog system. A guy has to run around, put on the amplifiers, put the volumes open in the evening, go around and put everything off again. Now, they had in the past also already a digital snake that was running through the park, but also that was really very limited. So a few years ago we started here to install our first Dante network. We reused the complete existing network, so we didn't have to do something new. In the past with CobraNet, we had a problem that we only could pass 2 or 3 switches. Now with Dante, we have places where we have more than 12, 13 switches between without dropouts or any difficult issues. What we did here in the park was we kept the CobraNet system that they are using from 10 years ago to earlier, and we placed next to it some new Dante zones. We used the media matrix system where we could combine Dante and where we combined CobraNet with the XDA bus together. That gave us a possibility to make one big matrix, renew the old zones and do something completely new with the new zones. Now, with all the new zones, we have actually 3 types of things that we can do. First of all, like you can imagine, an old zone in the past was a small analog mixer, a few amplifiers, a small rack, and there you could do some level adjustment between outside and inside, for example. But that was it. All those zones, we just take now an Otto Canali with Dante and DSP built in. We place it in a rack. Signal is coming in over Dante, only 1 or 2 channels. Mostly we take 2 channels, one for background music and one for speech, that we have general control over the 2 from the operator. And we are doing then all the EQ, delay, level adjustment into the harmonia, into the DSP of the amplifier. When it's tuned, it's 1 zone. For the general matrix, it's 1 zone from that moment. There are also other zones, zones where we're going to speak and we're going to see later on the Aqua Park, for example. In the Aqua Park, we have a dedicated controller, we have an extra neon, with connected also again with Dante to a few Otto Canalis. And there we have the possibility then to bring in local contacts, local sound effects. It doesn't matter what, name it and we can do it. What we are using in the most situations is the Otto Canali 4K4. It's actually for us an amazing amplifier. It gives enough power, 8 channels, it has a redundant power supply. We can have it without and with DSP, and we can have it with and without Dante. So in all our theme parks projects, and because we are using almost everywhere 100-volt speakers, and the 4K4 is also able to feed them, it's for us the most easy amplifier ever to use. Let's do a tour through the park. A first zone is a castle. In the Powersoft Castle, we have an indoor part, a venue where a lot of happenings are happening and there's also a restaurant in. And we have an outside zone. We have all the terraces outside on 2 levels, and we also have an attraction. That attraction is giving a trigger also to the sound. So the attraction is starting at that moment. At that moment, the music is also going to another music, the level is going up and stuff like that. Inside, we needed to have also some local inputs to have a local DJ or to have an orchestra. So here we have 2 Otto Canalis and 1 neon combined also all together on Dante. Now we are in another zone, and that zone is the Wiki zone. And the Wiki zone is actually a very good example of what we just saw in the castle, an old amplifier rack renewed by a very small rack with 2 M50Qs with DSP from Powersoft. We just come in with one analog signal, we split it out to 8 channels, and we have there all subzones there have their own EQ, have their own delay, and have their own level. The user there, it's important when a certain subzone is closed that he also can put down the volume, and with the volume knobs, it's possible. So that's now the way how we are doing a very simple thing. And now we are coming in actually in Aqua Park. In Aqua Park, it's a new indoor swimming pool where 1,000 people can and 1,000 children can play and swim together. There are a lot of water attractions like you can imagine. And one of the attractions is also a big thunder show. Every 50 minutes there's a show starting from 10 minutes with rain, with light effects and with a lot of thunder. What we did is we placed 24 speakers to the ceiling. We made a big thunder show programmed by Timax. The Timax with the Dante output dumped it on a PC with Dante, and that Dante is playing it now all over again, directly passing a neon to the Autocanalis from Powersoft. The complete chain is Dante, very easy, very cost effective as well. And it made for us possible that that thunder show is playing every hour, but we control it also from our offices in Boom. If there's something wrong, we really can see what's wrong. We even can see if a speaker not connected anymore, we can see or an amplifier don't have current anymore, whatever we can do. What we're gonna see here, there are 3 amplifiers. It's really hot over here. You can't feel it, but we can feel it. It's really hot. There's not real air conditioning room. When we had to do this in the past, 24 channels, we needed to have 1 or 2 big 40 unit amplifier racks with a lot of heat that it will produce. Now with these 3 amps, the heat is almost nothing. Also, where we only use one autocanali and it's in an attraction somewhere at the top, somewhere at the bottom, somewhere on the side, you don't have an air conditioning room, you don't have a big rack, you only have 3 units and then you have to put it somewhere. What we are seeing there is that it's actually also in the summer when it's 40 degrees, that heating problems are not really existing anymore. Of course, what's also an important issue is the power, because you can't run in a theme park your AV equipment on the normal power of the attraction. So there's a separate AV kind of power that's what's running around, and it's quite important that you can place 2-3 amplifiers on one 16 amp current. I told them about the Aqua Park. We have Mayaland here, we have a theater here, we have this Princessia Castle where there also be some local events and stuff like that. In total, we have that 30, I think almost 40 zones. That 40 zones, they have it under control from the operator. In the past, since a few years ago, it was always a technical issue and the theme park owner always had a guy who did nothing else than be busy with the sound. Now we are doing every year our maintenance, we are doing the new attractions, and for the rest, we monitor from Boom. And that's it. The operator, really the girl at the reception, she has a screen, and on that screen she can do all the announcements. She can adjust the volume when there's, for example, in the Princessia Castle something to do, she can mute it over here. You can do it locally or you can do it by the operator. But actually, if there's nothing broken, it's completely no technical issue anymore. I told you before there are different parks. In total there are 7 parks of the Plopsaqua group. Those 7 parks are connected through the internet that we all know, and the maintenance is happening by 2 people. 1 people with us in Boom, who's controlling everything technically, and 1 guy from Plopsaland who's really responsible for all the messages and for all the music. So earlier he had to go with SD cards, driving to Germany to put a new SD card with a new message. Now he all can do it online in 1 big platform. So he's arranging all the music and he can say, now I want to have a message in all the shops all over the Plopsaland. He just have to push a knob and everywhere that message is playing. So at the end, I hope we have a happy customer. And I also think, and I'm hoping as well, that we can do a lot of things in the past as well, because with the system that we are using, you don't have to go from one, you don't have to throw out all your old equipment and you don't have to renew it all. You can do it every year again. Every year we have a meeting and then we discuss what the most important zones are and countries are for the next year. Thank you for your attention. We have some questions over here that I will answer one by one. The first question is, how many low impedance and 100 volt lines are used in the system? Well, it depending the park, of course, but I think 80 or 90% of all the zones are using 100 volt speakers. The good thing from now, what we have with the auto canals we are using, is that it's actually not really important anymore. In the past, you really had to place a dedicated 100 volt amplifier. Now you just have to select the channels where the 100 volt speakers are on, and that's it. Even like the zone you saw, the Princessia Castle, we have maybe 40 speakers outside who are 100 volt, but inside we have actually a few speakers and a small sub that are low impedance. We just select the channels and that's it. Another question is, what kind of speakers are you using in these theme parks? Well, for the moment, we like really much the Martin Audio CDD range because we can use them indoor as indoor and outdoor. They are standard EN54 approved, and they are existing from a 5-inch to a 12-inch. But the most important thing is that they have a differential dispersion. What means if we have to place speakers next to a road somewhere, we just have to place one speaker on a pillar every 12 meters, and we have really a very equal sound when we walk in passing that road. When we're talking about the Aqua Park, for example, then we are using their speakers from Renke Designs. They made a special version of their CF speaker for us. What's not only waterproof, what also is chlorine proof, because that's quite an important issue over there. Another question is, are you doing the design within your company yourself, or are you using an external company for that? Well, actually, we are doing everything ourselves. I'm going to do a talk with the client, see what he really needs to have. We are coming to a general concept, and then we have some internal engineers who are really focused on making programmation in the neon and everything around it. A colleague of me, Stan Vermeer, he's really making very nice screens for the operator, so that we have really a very, very user-friendly environment, because that's what the client makes happy at the end. What kind of matrix are you using? I told that before, it is the Media Matrix Neon. Why we are using that? Because it's really an open platform. We can write scripts in it, and we can use it for much more than only an audio matrix. We really use it as a control matrix for the complete audio system. How it's interacting with Powersoft Media Matrix made by their own some plugins, so you can see everything from Powersoft, but it's also possible by using other languages where the amplifiers are talking to the Media Matrix platform as well. How important is the low power consumption of the amplifiers in a theme park project? Well, I think more and more. I told before in the video that I think it's quite important that you can plug in 2 or 3 amplifier channels on one 16 amp socket. And then we have in total 16 or 24 channels of a few hundred watts who are working on one 16 amp. We couldn't imagine that a few years ago. But I think more and more clients are also looking to the cost of ownership. We saw it in a few figures in the video. If you compare what you have to pay to run an amplifier just on the electricity, on your electricity bill, yeah, it's a big difference. If for sure, if you have 100 or 200 channels that you have to run 365 days a year, 12 hours in a day. Why Powersoft amps are the good choice for an install project? Well, I think, and that's a personal thing, but maybe not only a personal thing. A lot of manufacturers, a lot of amplifier manufacturers has really a B, and a C class of amplifier. I think Powersoft has only A class amplifiers. You just have to choose the amplifiers, what's the right choice for your project. If we're talking about now about theme parks, I use M series and Otto Canali series, just where I need volume knobs or not, or where I need to have Dante or not, or when we're talking about a theater, for example, we are doing quite a big classical venue in Antwerp, also in Belgium, the Queen Elizabeth Hall, what's opening in 3 weeks, I think, where we combine the X series with the Otto Canali series. The X series is driving the complete PA system. The Otto Canalis, they are really used for the congress spaces, for the complete announcement system and stuff like that, all with the same software, all with the same harmonia, but the same way connected through Dante, what makes life really easy also over there. What kind of Ethernet switches are used? Well, you can use all the Ethernet switches that you can use with Dante, of course. We are preferring Cisco switches where you never have to touch the system. As soon as we are coming in a quite technical environment, like a theater, for example, or a pop venue, then we really, really prefer the Luminex switches, because I think they are made for the entertainment industry, and they are really actually the only switch where you don't need to be a technical schooled person. An operator really can do a lot of things with it without bringing damage to the rest of the network. But like I said, with really fixed installs where it's only has to be in once, you have different choices as well. How is the local DSP in the amplifier are used? The local DSP in the amplifier, I think it's used for all the limiters and for all the dedicated EQing that we need for one group of speakers. All the general stuff we do, we are doing in the media matrix. But when we are coming then to the matrix of the amplifier, I think that's really a unique thing, since we can do that. Because I told before, we have in most zones also the very simple zone. We have one channel with music, we have one channel with speech. They are coming on 2 Dante channels into the amplifier, but then we have the choice in all the 8 or 16 or 24 subzones really to make a balance between your speech and your music. And that's really, really a very huge extra tool that we have to fine-tune a complete zone over now. I see a new question. Dante is a cable network. Can you use it with Wi-Fi? So what do you think about configure the installation without wires? Well, I don't know exactly. I don't know how it's technically possible already, but in a fixed install, I would never go wireless. Everything we can do with a wire, we will do with a wire. And because Dante is such an easy protocol to combined with other things on a VLAN somewhere, most of the time, even in architectural projects, you find somewhere 100 megabits to send your Dante over. What are the different softwares are used in the complete system? Well, we use the Harmonia really to do the dedicated setup in the beginning and also to do maintenance. For example, the load monitoring, we are using the live measurement, tool, the impedance measurement, to do when we have a phone call. Hey, we don't have music in a certain zone. We can control the media matrix. Then we go to the amplifier, and then we really can see at the end from are we seeing an amplifier, yes or no. If we are there in the park to do our yearly, or to do our, most of the time we go twice a year to every theme park to do a maintenance over there. Well, I forgot where I was. I'm sorry for that. Then we are using actually the pilot tone option, because that gives us an absolute accurate situation, or we lost, for example, 1 or 2 of the 100-volt speakers without going around. We store it before when we install it, and we store the curve at that time, and then we can compare it a year after. What's the sonic difference between the old parts of a system and the updated sounds? Well, I think it's really huge. If you can imagine, in the past, most of the amplifiers were not really heavy, were only 200 watts, 300 watts. And then there was a low quality 100-volt transfer placed behind. If you update it then to a good amplifier with power enough, it's already a huge difference. And if you're doing the DSP and you add the DSP on that, and you really can do a dedicated EQ to all those subsounds, then we quite often see that a lot of old speakers are really sounding well. Because sometimes it's also really difficult to change speakers. For sure, for example, if you in some theme parks we have a lot of old ceiling speakers. If you have to change them, yeah, it's quite a big job. And a lot of times, if they're okay, then we really can make them sound that the client is saying, "Wow, what a big difference!" And it's still the same. It's still the same speaker. I think we had all the questions. So thanks for watching, and I give the word back to Francisco. A last thing, if you have a question, don't hesitate to contact Francisco or myself.
Thanks.
Francisco, up to you.
Oh, thanks, Steven, for filling all questions. I sincerely thanks you for your time, and thanks for all attendees for watching. I hope the webinar has been useful, and we provided interesting information to all of us, all of you. Of course, you will receive a follow-up email with all materials related to Plopsaqua project and also all Powersoft amplifiers deployed there. And in the mail, you of course also can find all the Powersoft contact and face contact. So if you need more information, or if you have other answers, you can ask and you can provide us with that. So last thing, I would like to thank also Pro Audio Central for supporting us in promoting the webinar, Face again, and all of you. So thanks again, and see you next time.